All right, good morning, guys. Thanks for being here.
Morning.
It's quite a small group. We've got quite a few people off today. We're just going to go over a few quick things. The second topic, it's going to be an open discussion for you guys to go over. I'll ask a few of stronger packers to go over it, and then we'll just leave it open to the floor. First topic we're going to go over is always using a parts box when picking up a United order, a storage order, or any order that's not delivering directly. It just makes it easier for the crew. Everyone knows how hard it is and the pain in the ass it is when you're at the end of the day and you're searching for that parts box, or you're searching for parts because they're not in a parts box. So we just need to get back in the habit of always making a parts box. Devin had a customer that was in storage for, I'd say about a year almost, because we brought him in last October, and he could not find any parts. And he was there for an extra 2.5 hours, running around the house waiting for the customer to go to Home Depot to get parts to put their bed together. So it's just one thing that we need to get back into the habit of. There's always parts boxes in the pack room. They're white boxes and they say parts in red.
Open first.
Open first. And just so you guys know, you guys leads when you're doing inventories, that should always either be your first or your last in a running inventory. So if it's not the first one, it needs to be your last number. Just so it's easy to find whenever, you know what I mean, especially when we're doing G11s and stuff like that. Just makes it easier for everyone to know exactly where it's at. We'll just use a parts box. Okay?
And mind you too, like, especially stuff going into storage, it's not always gonna be delivered by us, it could be delivered by another road driver,
So you gotta,
and they will
they'll freak
they'll
out.
freak the fuck out.
And
They'll-
the thing
they'll
is,
fuck worse than-
so when you're picking up storage and it has a United order and it's not a P number, even P numbers, some P numbers will release to United orders, but if you're bringing in something to storage and it's a United order, that is guaranteed that it's releasing to the driver. I can guarantee it's releasing to the driver.
Another good thing is, as a lead, I saw this coming. We had a storage out, and whoever packed it on the parts box, they actually wrote down what was in the parts box: master bed frame, couch legs, lamp, light bulb. And if you do
That's one good thing
that
that
helps super hard. 'Cause sometimes they don't put disassembled by owner on the inventory or
Yeah.
assembled by crew. If you don't have the parts for it, then you don't assemble it. If you do, then you do.
Well, I know at least Devin, when I was with Devin when we were doing storage, he used to wrap it in white paper and write it on marker what it was for. So that's something that you guys could also do, is just wrap it in white paper, right?
Yeah, or
Master bed,
Empty
you know,
table.
you know what I
Stick
mean,
that up too.
stuff like that. All right, second one we're gonna go over that we're gonna let you guys discuss. It's gonna be crew members, our best practices on packing jobs. What are some do's and don'ts that you guys think that we can improve on for other crew members to read, especially, you know, watch, because most of our new crew members aren't here today. What are some of the best practices we could set for them?
Always bring more packing than it's calling for.
Okay, that's a good one.
And in doing that, also though, be mindful of how many, the counts of each. Like, you don't wanna go, I used to get reamed a lot by Regina when the counts went over, and she would be like, well, how, did you call anybody? You didn't call anybody, we can't adjust the thing, and it was just always a thing. So I don't know if that applies anymore, but I don't know, I was kinda beating my head quite a bit. So if it's asking for 8 dish packs, especially with dish packs, because they're expensive, I kind of stick to 8 dish packs. You don't want to go over too much unless it's brought to the operations attention. At least that's what I was taught.
Yeah.
David said the same thing.
Yeah.
On my last pack. You can challenge packing as well.
Yeah, you can challenge packing, most definitely. If you think the packing's gonna go over, if you think there's more dish packs gonna go over, call sales. You put that phone list out on the group chat for a reason. You have every single last salesperson's number on it. If it's one of our salesperson, if it's a E26 salesperson, give me a call. I have all their numbers. You know what I mean? It could be anywhere, and we'll be able to find out if the salesperson or not for you guys, so we can get you guys to challenge it.
Is challenging pack jobs almost similar to moving? Like, do you just not pack anything until they come see what's up, or? 'Cause I never really had to go through that.
I think it might be a little different. I don't think it's where you can't start packing. I think it's just, you gotta challenge it first, because, so what the thing is I think when we're challenging packing, if we go over, or if it doesn't go over and you challenged it, I think you get the charge back instead, so crew gets charged back in $50, whatever it is. So, we just need to make sure that when we're challenging it, that it's actually going over. Dev, what about right size cartons?
I would say, so we all know 1.5s for heavies. We just packed a bunch of rocks on my job recently.
Yeah.
Rocks, like statues, things
Yeah.
like that.
Books. Yep.
Weights, things like that. 4.5s, comforters, towels. Really anything that, plungers, things that are like too big for a 3.0. But you don't want them packed too heavy because they're not constructed to be able to handle so much weight. They get heavy enough that they're falling apart.
They're only single walls, so.
And then, 3.0s, just everything else. And then dish pack is important to understand glass first. The pack we just did, me and Ashton, we called for 16 dish packs. I used probably like 8 on glass, and everything else I was like, okay, if you have the leftovers, yeah, cool. Now you can utilize them for some patio,
Or like
statues,
flower
flower
pots,
pots,
yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. But
Prioritize glass first.
But yeah, prioritize glass first, because if you run out of that, and
So it's called a dish pack, so it's
Yeah.
mainly
Namesake.
dishes are supposed to
yeah.
go in there. So most definitely. And what's that point you brought up about picture?
Oh yeah, don't lay them flat, because if you put pressure, if you put stuff on top, even if it's like, it's something that is gonna be on putting pressure, especially for like glass frames and all that, it's just gonna break it. So if you stand them up right, maybe keep them lined up, and maybe put stuff on the side to keep them from falling over, that'd be optimal, because then you wouldn't be having that issue.
Yeah. Most definitely. Anything else? Any other?
And try not to like cram anything in there, or try to break like the item itself into the box when you're trying to pack.
Yeah.
Because I had that issue.
Ashton,
You gotta
Ashton.
make sure everything in the box is not obstructed, or anything that might damage it. Just put it in the box, make sure it's good to go, and then you can close it. And don't fill up the box to the point where it's not gonna sink either. Try and fill it up with items if you can, but if you can't find anything, just white paper it.
Stuff with paper.
Just
stuff.
put a
Top
some.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
The white paper top. Most definitely.
So it's not a soft
Be
top.
courteous to the crew after you too. If you have a really light box, maybe write top load on it.
Yeah, top
Or
load.
if it is super heavy and it's in the basement,
Shit's fucked, yo.
put a star or write heavy on it.
Yeah.
We all know that a dish pack's heavy, but there's a Sonder dish pack and then there's a Mitch dish pack. Okay.
Yeah.
So which dish pack's heavier? Top load, soft tops, stuff like that always helps when it comes to loading. So
I guess that kind of goes into what I was gonna say. Just know when enough is enough. Just know when.
Yeah.
Just be mindful of what
I
you're
always
putting
kind of
in the
jostle
box.
it too, as you're going, you can kind of tell. But
Check,
just-
check.
I always try to imagine, like, if I'm gonna move it, if I can't
Mitch
move it.
imagines himself in the box, and he's like, if I'm traveling in the truck, I want to move back and forth.
Quote unquote, dollar
What if I
declared.
was the dish?
Don't have stuff moving around in them either.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to pick up a box and just kind of like rattle around with stuff.
Yeah.
and another thing too is
Especially with 3.0s, man. I always see a lot of 3.0s, especially when they have stuff coming in and shaking.
Yeah.
Shake test.
Yeah.
So always make sure that it's secure in the box, man. You don't want
I
to
had
shake
that
it out.
issue with 4 or 5s.
Yeah.
if you're a lead packer too, make sure always read over that what not to pack list. There's been a couple of moves lately that I've pulled out kitchen boxes that somebody packed oil in, and it just broke. The customer can get upset if you're not going to take their virgin olive oil, but they can always buy new ones because it saves not having 4 or 5 other boxes covered in stuff. Don't pack open stuff or glass products a lot.
No batteries either. You gotta check the shit for batteries.
That's one thing that you always got to make sure is you're letting the customer know those prohibited items. That's what I did when I was out on crewman. The prohibited items is if I was seeing them, they're getting left down right on your shelves or anything like that. It's not getting packed in the box. I'm gonna put it on your countertop and leave it there. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, these are the stuff I can't pack. And it's also a good thing to go over first thing in the morning as the lead is, go over like, hey, we can't take these, and this. If you plan us to pack these, like, we cannot. So what I'm gonna do is we'll go around, we'll pack what we can, and then we'll leave everything we can't pack on your countertops. And most customers are fine with it. Like, some will give you lip and everything, but if you set that standard from the jump, they're not gonna sit there and fight you as long as, like, if you're like going to pack and just like, oh, I can't take this now. It's like if you already told them you can't take this, they're not gonna be as upset as you're telling them, you know, just right then and there that you can't take it.
And it just goes for any customer you have, setting the standard. When I go in, one of the first things I was telling Chase about this, one of the first things I do when I enter a house and do a walkthrough with the customers, as we're doing a walkthrough, I mean, and that's another thing, pay attention during the walkthrough. I can't tell you how many times I see a helper wandering off, and they're not listening, and then they grab something that the customer said, this doesn't go, and I'm like, hey, it doesn't go. And I understand we forget, but there are times too that I'm noticing people are not like paying attention to the walkthrough. Pay attention to the walkthrough. They're saying important things that we all need to know. But also during the walkthrough, I'm kind of gauging what customer would have. If you have a bitch, or just someone's frantic and stressed, or if they just have a cool customer, throughout the whole walkthrough, I'm studying that customer. Thinking, okay, what kind of customer do we got? Do we got someone who's going to be a kind of an asshole?
Pain in the ass.
From the start, I'd like to from there.
Well, you gauge it, yeah.
Tell them like here's what it is. So any chance in the beginning of the move, you gauge that kind of customer you have, and you set a standard and let it be known. Here's what we're gonna do. This is what we're doing. We're paid commission. We're not paid hourly, especially if it's an hourly rated job.
Yeah.
You just let them know like we're freaking ready to get this done and we're gonna knock this out. That's
The cover page also, we have them, sign it before, and that just breaks down, like, we talked about this, we talked about not packing liquids, we talked about this.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said,
That's what it's for.
It's about setting the standard for the customer. You're setting it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like I said, you're like, hey, we can't pack these, and this. So when you have, a fucking full ass shit that we can't pack, they're not upset about it at the end of it. So it's just setting the example and just be like, hey, we can't take these. Just so they're fully aware of it, you guys get ahead of it, and you're not gonna have a grumpy customer at the end of it because you can't pack their olive oil like Jerome said. So
Typically with the stuff that, other than the stuff that can't be packed, usually I try to ask if they can have a room, like a bathroom, or just a very specific corner where it's like a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that corner, we don't touch that. That's the shit you're taking, that's the shit we can't take. Like,
yeah,
that all goes there.
Yeah, designated areas for that, like you're saying.
Yeah,
Definitely.
designated areas, because I understand that it's, whether you're packing or moving, it's a grab and go mentality.
yeah.
Just like, whatever you can get your
most
hands
definitely
on.
grab it.
Yeah.
I let them know too that we're pretty observant. We've all been doing this for a while, so if it's something that looks questionable, we're gonna ask. We're not gonna just start packing keys,
Yeah,
because they're in a junk drawer. We're gonna ask, hey, are these keys necessary for anything, or do you want me to toss them? So
Yeah, usually inquire about the sensitive stuff.
yeah.
And it doesn't hurt to still ask questions throughout the day. Not necessarily if you forget. I always usually find myself asking questions just to quadruple check to make sure that I'm grabbing the right items from the right area.
And again, it just shows the customer that you're paying attention, that you're actually caring and mindful about things. And just a dumb blockhead mover type of dude.
And that's also with a good point of the catch-all area. What you guys can do is after you guys are doing the walkthrough and everything like that, if there's like bigger pieces of furniture and stuff like that, like you don't want, you know what I mean? But if it's like smaller stuff that you gather in a room that you know it's not going, that they're personally taking, like I get it if they're staging stuff and that's not going, you know what I mean? Leave it there. But if it's smaller stuff like that, you have a catch-all room, just go throw in that catch-all room so it's not in your guys' way.
Yeah.
Get out of the way so you're not,
Well,
at
it's
the end
not
of the day, because
cross
even at the end of
lines.
the day, man, once you guys get to the end of the day, you're not gonna remember every little last thing
Yeah.
that customer told you not to bring.
And I think one last thing I want to add in is with the pictures. A nice little tip for pictures is I see people that have been brown wrapping pictures and they're like doing this full tape job, or you're wrapping it like you would wrap a headboard, like you're doing a full on tape job. It's like, dude, fold it, do a little tiny strip of tape and put it in that box, because it's
That's
not
all.
gonna
Yeah,
matter.
it's in the box.
As long as it holds, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna shift around. So don't and I'll see people brown wrapping pictures and like have this whole thing of brown paper wrapped pictures, but not a single mirror carton box made. So it's like you haven't really gone anywhere. You haven't packed anything yet. So my suggestion would be build the boxes first. Build like, I don't know, 8 of the sections, And then when you're wrapping, little tape, stuff it in there, and then another one, stuff it in there, and then seal that box. Now that's a packed box.
So kind of just leapfrog it essentially?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
That's
Like,
the way I always
that way
do-
you're not laying out a bunch of brown paper pictures without a single packed picture box.
That's the way I would do
You're
it, is
packing
I
as
would,
you go.
I would go
You're
out,
wrapping
I'd
as you
count
go.
how many picture boxes I think I would need, and I would at least build the bottom 2 bases. You know what I mean, even if you don't have enough room to build all the bases, all the tops and everything like that, get the bottom bases done, so you can get them out of the way, you know what I mean, get them out of the way, build those top 2, slap it on, get it out of the way. It's just, I understand, like, we don't have room in some of these houses, so I get it, like, you don't wanna sit there and overwhelm yourself by building, you know,
Yeah.
12, 13, 14
Right,
pieces
right.
of
You
mirror
do that
so you don't
to
have room. But, yeah, so that's also a good thing to get ahead of, is just count mirror, gonna build before.
And there's times where I'm wrapping a picture and I don't even tape it. I'm just, if you wrap it right, like you would wrap a,
Like Christmas
Had-
present almost, yeah.
yeah, or even
Yeah.
like, bookshelf shelves.
Yeah.
You wrap it like that, you wrap the ends and you roll it.
Yeah.
It's folded, it's done, just slap it in that box. That way it's not, you're not like taping all crazy.
Duly noted.
I got nothing now.
Nothing else?
Yeah, you're good.
That was a good discussion, guys. Well,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you, guys.